Pretty soon after I started quilting, I was introduced to the rotary cutter, and it dramatically changed my entire world. It's changed the quilting industry for almost every quilter that is out there today. Westerly Design, when they designed the ruler foot, they dramatically have changed that way quilters are quilting. Long armers have had rulers for a long time, but our domestic quilters were at a disadvantage. We've never had those amazing products that could advance our skills. I have so many people say that I can't free motion, that I don't know how to do it, that I'm no good at it. Ruler work is not free motion, it's guided motion. I already know where I'm going, and all I have to focus on is just keeping the foot attached to the ruler until I'm at the end of the line. So it's really a big advancement, helping people to make their quilts as beautiful as they want and really changing the level of skill that our domestic quilters are going to see.
Hi, it's Stacy with So Steady, and we are live for our educator interviews with Kate Quinn. And that was her voice and her amazing explanation of guided free motion with Westerly rulers. I would say that Kate has been very instrumental in sharing Westerly rulers and just the love of quilting with templates, and especially Westerly templates for us for really, I would say, almost close to the last 10 years, probably 8 years, Kate. Yeah, I will let you kind of share your story and your journey with us a little bit here in a moment. But I did want to announce that, we're doing our live educator series. So our goal is every single week that we get to highlight one of these amazing educators, and Kate is one of our best. So I'm super excited to have you joining us here live today, Kate, to be able to share with everyone and just kind of go through a trunk show of all of your amazing classes that you have on the So Steady University, talk about some things that are coming up with those that we get to share with everyone. And then we're going to have a chance to win one of those amazing classes for all of you joining us live today. So that being said, Kate, tell us a little bit about your quilting journey. Where did it all begin for you?
So I don't know if some people know that I am a West Point graduate and some people don't. My husband and I are both class of 1991, and we both graduated from West Point at the same time. So imagine that I'm getting ready to be a lieutenant and be super hua and go out into the Army, and my wedding present from my mother and my aunties was a sewing machine.
I love that.
What the heck are they doing? I did not know how to sew. I
Really?
basically, I almost flunked out of home ec. Mrs. Foreman, thank you. I love you. Thank God for you. But I made this skirt, and I remember in home ec, I tried to make a bathing suit. Like, for somebody that doesn't know how to sew, that could be like the worst possible starting project that you've ever had.
Yeah, I would probably fail at that myself.
So, I just remember thinking, oh, I'm never going to use that. It's going to be a paperweight in the closet. And in addition to that, for my wedding, my husband's great aunt Juanita gave us this grandmother's flower garden that was hand pieced and hand quilted as our wedding gift. And it was on our bed for decades. And maybe about around the time that my son was born, I had a gift from another auntie, and it was a quillo was really a popular quilt item back in like around mid 90s. It was like make a pillow and you can fold the quilt into it and close it up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got one of those, and it was patchwork scrap. It was like just little squares. And I'm like, oh, I can make that. I think I can make that. Well, it was really hard. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but I did make it. And then when I was pregnant with my son, I wanted to make something. I think a lot of people start sewing when they want to make like a wedding quilt or, it's the problem is that we have this big idea of we want to make this thing, this beautiful thing, right? Not just like, oh, we want to learn something. No, we want to make something, right? That's the impetus. So it's kind of like when I was playing piano, I wanted to play Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohen, and I go into the piano teacher and I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I want to play this song. And she's like, oh yeah, okay, here. La, 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 C scale. We're going to start here, So I think, a lot of quilters we are sort of the creative minds, like going and stuff like that, but we may not always have the skills to support that. And so I quilted, a good 15 years, and I had, just like everybody, the closet full of every, unquilted thing. Right. And I had this one quilt that I had actually quilted the whole thing, and it was hand quilted. And it was only like, I don't know, 40 by 40. And it took me 2.5 years to quilt it. I'm like, God, forget it. I can't, my attention span does not hold with something like that. I can't pay attention that long. So I had really a strong desire to be a better quilter, but I did not have a vehicle. And I remember when we moved to Albuquerque, it was my husband's last duty station. He had been in the Army for 25 years. He ended up retiring out of Albuquerque, which is where we are now. And I started working at the local shop, and I had this little quilted thing that I was teaching and some other patchworky things and stuff like that. And the store owner was like, oh yeah, we'll take that, and that. You can teach those, and then we'll see how it goes. And maybe around that time, I just grabbed this little thing I wanted to show you. I was not a natural. Okay, I keep this. This is my original feathers from Hooked on Feathers, whoever that artist is. That was a book that came out, and my friend bought it, and we tried to learn feathers, and I was not a success.
Okay, so that looks like something I would do, or mine would be worse probably, but
yeah, but I've just kind of kept that to say, people will say, oh, you're just so talented, or you're no, and I'm not trying to be arrogant. I am saying that I am not. I am worked hard, right? And I think that you can get better with good tools, and you can get better with good instruction, and you can get better with persistence. Yeah. So it's not that I had this magic talent that I was like so good at that. I see things, like I see designs, and when I dream, I see the design in my head and things like that. Or if I look at something, I can take it apart. And that's perhaps my biggest quilter skill, is that I can translate something into the fabric design. And I really love that part of it. And the other piece that I love is, of course, I love the teaching.
Yeah.
I love the connection with students. I like being able to help them get better. I remember how great it felt when I was like, all of a sudden, oh, I could do that. So I'll show you guys this one piece. This is a very early Westerly passion project. So I made this with the Westerly feathers, and I remember that my friend was like, oh, they'll only, sew straight feathers, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I see something else there. I'm going to try that. And Stacy, I remember I was like, I called my mom. I said, look, Mom, look what
gorgeous.
I made. And
it's gorgeous.
And that was kind of that start of the love affair with the Westerly products. And that was before you and I met. So I was teaching at my local store, and I remember it was before there was a good like Bernina foot. There's all these different feet now. A lot of manufacturers have made them, and I didn't. I had to use the adapter right on the Berninas at that time.
Sure.
And I had this local machinist. He kind of monstered the foot for me so that I could use it on some of my other machines, like my Janome and stuff like that. And then I was able to use my long arm rulers on some of those machines, and I could use your rulers. And they had one package of Westerly. It was a sampler set 1. And the owner of the store had gotten it like 2 years before at Schoolhouse or something like that. Maybe like in Houston, she'd gotten like a sample, and it was still on the wall. I'm like, oh, can I play with this? And they're like, yeah, here, take it. I'm like, oh. I started teaching like 3 months later. And my first project was the Westerly Quilt As You Go. And
oh, wow. Okay.
I learned so much. And after that, that was it. I was hooked. I was like, how Leonie thinks, how precise things were, everything in that, the way that the truth is, when I use other rulers other than our Westerly line, I don't think like they do a lot of times, and it's not every ruler. I'm not saying they're bad or anything. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions, but the way that Leonie thinks really clicked with me, and I was able to use her products really easily and effectively. And I could take knowledge from one and bring it to another ruler, and it really allowed me to have a huge creative flourish. And So I'm very grateful. And I met you guys at Houston, and I brought my quilt in a bag that was not quite 100% done, because it's still not 100% done. And I showed it to you guys. And your mom started talking to me, and that was how you and I got connected. And, I had been working with your staff for 2 years, helping my customers and my clients and my students be able to get what they needed on the local level.
Yeah.
And I just appreciate the opportunity to be an instructor. I mean, I love it. It's been a very big blessing in my life, and I've made so many great friends, and traveled, and I just love to see what people are doing, and how they're using the tools and how they can enhance their own creativity. That's been a really big, fabulous blessing in my life. So I'm very grateful to you guys for all of that.
Yeah, no, I remember traveling and doing multiple shows with you. I think that Houston, I can't remember the year, but it was probably 2017, 2018 was the year that we had you come and be part of our booth. And you were one of our demonstrators, one of our educators in our booth that year. And I think that was the year that we actually decided to host a class after and invite all of those customers to be part of a private Facebook group. And that Facebook group today is called, I think, Quilting with Kate.
It's something like that. It's like
Yeah.
so steady
Yeah.
products and ruler work with Kate Quinn. And that's
Yes.
true. And that was
Yeah.
for the All Brands group. I remember that they were hosting that class. And our group has, 17,000
Yeah.
supporters now, and a lot of great sharing. People are always asking for, how do I quilt this? Or, we like the opportunity to show what you're doing, because guaranteed that somebody out there on the other side of that is seeing what you're doing, and that can inspire them. Because we don't all have like this magical ability to conceptualize. I have a quilt friend of mine who was quilting a good 15 years before I even met her. So she was like very amazingly skilled, and she can see the quilt from the very beginning to the very end. And that's not my process. I see like, let's do something. Oh, that's not working. Change that. I'm more a little bit of little bits and pieces. I can't see the whole process. But I think that we all have different ways of thinking about our quilting process. So when we see what other people are doing, that's really a big handhold to say, oh, I can go this way, or even I don't want to go that way. I appreciate that that's what this person did. It looks great, but maybe I want to go this way. So things like that, the visuals that we have and the videos for reference and the instructions. I think that one of the things that I wish that were easier with the Westerly products is, I feel like education is the key. I think that so many times when I was in the store and people would come in, they don't know what they need to get started. They don't know what they need to buy in order to start this process. And so I think that our educators are really a vital piece of making sure that you have the right foot. How do you hold that? Put the grips on. So many of our tools are designed to make everything easier, to make every little thing easier to move, easier to see, visual graphics, written handouts, some books. I mean, we try to support all of these products so that people can have a really big resource network so they can just dive right in.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I would second that in saying that, and I'm sure most of the people watching today would also agree that, our focus has definitely been on education with Westerly rulers. And, someone commented that they miss seeing you online teaching as much as you used to.
I'm sorry. I'm so busy.
She's so busy. She's now doing a lot with Janome as an educator, and going all around teaching, ruler work and more on Janome machines. And so on top of,
so I'm doing So Steady products at the OSQE Nashville coming up at the beginning of October. And then right after that, I'm driving to Cincinnati to go do OSQE in Cincinnati. So come see me. I am out there and out in the world. I want to visit with you in person.
And you've got several classes at both of those shows that you're hosting. So if you're anywhere near either location, definitely look into those classes. I think there's still some availability in a couple of them. Yeah,
So we have
Perfect.
everything.
Well,
We have patchwork, we have embroidery, and we have quilting with rulers. So you can pick your poison and, advance your creativity with anything that fits your style.
I love it. Well, one of the things that I mean, I think that we can all agree that you do amazing work, and the way that you teach and what you put forth for quality is just really, really high quality and gorgeous. So we talked a little bit about the opportunity to maybe bundle some of the classes that you have in the university, because you do have, oh, I would say probably nearly 20 classes on the university today.
Yeah, I think so.
I can give you an exact number. I
I think it's
believe,
21.
yeah, yeah, because we fill a whole page of classes here.
And
Um,
some of them are free, and we do try to price them really cost effectively because we want
mhm,
you to access them. We don't want them to be out of reach.
exactly. Yeah. And so we're going to go ahead and maybe introduce a few new bundle opportunities, and then we'll go through each of those different projects. If you have the trunk show piece there,
I have
then you could
almost all of
highlight.
them right here.
Oh, you do? Well,
I
then I'm
have
going
a
to let you
giant,
take
I have a
over.
giant little area. I might have to adjust my camera, but I have them all right here.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to let you jump in. You're going to manage the trunk show. I'll pull up the class information if need be to support what you're showing.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So do you have which one you want to start with?
Oh, I'm going to let you choose, because otherwise you sorting through what you've got in front of you would be more difficult, I think.
Okay, yeah, it's not grouped all perfectly, but
Okay,
let's
yeah.
adjust the camera. Let's make sure we can see. And I'm gonna turn my.
Okay,
Let's see.
perfect.
How do I turn my camera around?
There should be a camera, and then you go to flip. You
Hmm.
go to settings, camera,
Okay, hang on just a second.
settings, camera, and then flip.
Camera? Nope, that wasn't it. Darn
Let
it.
me see if I can go into it with you. You're going to choose settings.
The settings button isn't showing up for me at all, Stacy. Let's
It
see.
should be at the very
Ah,
bottom. There
there
you
it's
go.
no, it wasn't, but okay. I don't know. It's got some
Okay.
weird, it doesn't look the same as what we've done before. Okay, so
Oh, weird.
let me flip this around and we'll get all
There we
set.
go.
So I'll tighten this up so we can see some stuff. So this piece right here is called concentric tangent. And the way I kind of structured the bundles, and Stacy, I recommended some things to her, but she's going to have to do whatever is easy for the staff to be able to put that information out there. But I wanted to highlight this because this is the circles on quilts. So this class is a moderate fee, and it features, these are the simple circles where the circle, this concentric right here where you layer it, this will be the circles on quilts. And ones like this right here where they're stacked from the same center point, this is the simple circles, right? So literally a circle where you have a 2-inch circle, 3-inch circle, 3.5, 4, whatever. So they have sets 1 and 2. This one in particular, this is set number 2, which is 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. And the reason I chose that is because if you already have the sampler set, you already have the 2-inch circle, and now you get a bunch more. So when you purchase this one additional set, you expand your simple circle abilities. Okay, and then over here, this would be an example of our circles on quilts, set number 1 or set number 3. So these are all a 1/2 inch apart, and these would be like from 2 to 12 in even increments and odd increments. So set 1 is only the evens, and set number 2 is the odds. Set number 3 has even and odd. So 2, 3, 4, 5, it just depends which sets that you get. I prefer getting set 3 because I want all the choices. And then that's just some straight lines in there to kind of make this work. This was kind of based on this design that I saw on Pinterest. And it's funny, it looks like a face, but that was not intentional. That was just some random, I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
what.
kind of got like maybe owl vibes
Yeah,
going.
exactly. Exactly. I don't know where that came from.
Big Hooters, yeah.
And the reason
Oh, that's fun.
so can you see the texture on this one, Stace?
You
Okay.
can, yeah, very, very well.
I'm going to change the lighting just a little so we can really enhance that.
Yeah, in fact, you can see that better than you can on the university class because the university is the patchwork on the other side. And so, yeah, that looks awesome.
So this is the free class. This is the Baptist fan. And the reason that that class is important, it's not just how to use the circles on quilts or even just how to make the Baptist fan, but the class is focused on balancing the fan. So if you can see right here, on each side, we have a partial fan and a small partial fan. So the whole thing about this class was rather than having a full fan on one side over there and then having a little bitty fan on the other side over here, this class was about how do I balance my edge-to-edge design so that it fits the quilt appropriately. And so that's really the whole aspect of this class. And that class is free and available on the university. We bundled that with some other things. So let's see what else we have. So another category that I set up that I love is using the Crosshair Square. So in order to do any of the things that are in that class, all of these different things are based on and predicated on the use of the Crosshair Square. So this block right here is called the Crossworks Block. And I created the class, and all of these are based on the Westerlee patchwork tools and also using one spin effects to quilt the whole thing. So this whole thing was just quilted with one template. Everything that you see, it's just the same template, just used in different ways. So this particular one is spin effects number 11, and I'm going to grab one other piece. One of the things that we focus on in that particular class is the fact that you can make the blocks any size that you want, and then you can select the spin effects that fits that block size, right? So we can make it fit. So this is spin effects number 11, and this is based on the 5.5 inch size. And then I believe this one is 7 or 9, I'm not sure. But I actually have a pattern that is included with this, and I've actually made the full-size bed quilt with 6 of these blocks and sashings, and you can just quilt it with one single template as edge to edge. And you can even connect all of these in the pattern so that you do a pattern where you end here, and then you can do this one in the middle and then finish over here and then do this one and then connect to the next one. So there's some cool instructions to make it as continuous as possible. So that kind of fits in with our edge to edge theme. So this Crossworks block is based on the Crosshair Square. Another one that we have that's based on the Crosshair Square is this Daisy Lively mandala class. I absolutely love it. So Leonie West, started the circle craze. This is using the circle set artisan curves, and then I do have some of the smaller circles that are not in that group set. So if you want to buy, I think there's 7 in that set, and I think 5 come in the package together if you buy it as a set. And I have all of them, of course. But
I think this is such a stunning project as well. But yeah, this is the Artisan Curve Circles collection. Now, Kate, as you're going through, I think it's going to be important to maybe mention for them to like or comment on the ones that they would be excited to win. And maybe we can address the ones that we're going to be including in the, for them to choose to win, because there's going to be one lucky winner today of their class of choice that's within that kind of pool of classes. So maybe classes that are under $25 that they get to choose from. Is that what you're thinking?
I think that sounds great. I would love that. That gives people access to just a little bit more information and lets them see some things. So
this would be one of those options then. It's under the 25. So I'll let you keep going.
Okay. And this class has a full handout where, it's step by step. Each picture is shown and it talks about how to use the crosshair lines. And especially when you work with artisan curves, those crosshair lines are gold because they're what allow you to travel and connect the design around that center point. So this is that pin-driven template type of thing. And this is really a great way to use it. And the other thing that I love, this class has an absolutely amazing border right here. And this border is created using the back-to-back templates. And I think people that know me know that I am a back-to-back addict. I think those are super versatile, so powerful. I have them in all the sizes. And this border was created using a back-to-back. And you can use basically any one. What changes is how deep the curve is or how wide the curve is, how long. And I show you how to create this border as part of that. So it's really a great opportunity to learn some really fun and innovative skills, as well as template for this. This is a template project.
I absolutely love that border too. That's incredible.
All right, so let's see what's next. So then I think we showed early on, right? Hooked on feathers. Yes, I am hooked on feathers. And now it's time to make them beautiful.
Oh, there it is.
So Westalee has allowed me to make amazing feathers and I love it. So this is the Feather and Hearts class. And you can see, I'll see if I can bring some of these up a little closer. We'll zoom in. Ooh, there we go. Is that better? Because you can really see some of them now. So here, just having that straight feather and being able to do the echoes and pairing it with a heart where you can actually curve all around. I'll scoot that down. See that beautiful right there where you can curve around the heart. So the heart class shows you how to feather different shapes. And an example of why that matters, this is a practical application. This is not a class, but this is what you can do once you learn how to feather around a shape, right? So we'll bring this back out so you can see the whole thing, right? But look at the texture on that, on these feathers right here. And then this is the Spinifex number 11 right at the tip there, just to create the frame. And this kind of goes along with our embroidery aspect where we can have quilted elements and they accent whatever that embroidery is. So we have, So Steady's voyaged off into quite a lot of different things with their embroidery by using some of our fantastic shapes to create amazing quilting elements then that we can match up with the rulers. And this is an example of, embroidery, some quilting, some free motion, and using our rulers and combining them to get a bigger effect overall. And that's kind of the point of
I
the
love that
embroidery.
sample. Yeah, no, that is absolutely. Now, that is just a sample, though. That's not a class on the university, correct?
Correct. I think that is a
Okay.
free class on our So Steady page somewhere. It's out there. It's just free content, but it is part of our.
So it's probably on a YouTube or a Facebook.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is, as you guys pointed out, Kate was live for us consistently through COVID. And so while she might have 21 classes on the university, she's probably got another, I don't know,
200 plus
200
videos
YouTube
out there.
lives and
Yeah.
Facebook lives. So there's so much content. And she did a great job of actually organizing some of that on the Facebook page as well. So you can actually find a lot of her lives specifically for like long arm quilting. If anyone's a long armer, she's got amazing content for you on that as well. I can show them how to find those today too, Kate.
Okay. And I probably need to go and continue. I started doing that to try and catalog some of that stuff so we could make it easier for people to find, like based on if it was Spinifex or Circles on Quilts or something like that. But I just haven't finished up because there's a lot of them. So
absolutely.
The other bundle class that we have is, this is the Feather Fantasy Sampler. And this is where I took all of my feather knowledge sort of to the next level, right? I took it to the nth degree. And this is multiple templates. It's not just feathers, but it's how do I pair a bunch of different things to get this really amazing result. And I wanted to show how versatile that the feathers could be. So I'll just bring this one like right in the center so you can kind of key in on just one of the blocks. And this is Quilt As You Go. So you're getting the opportunity to work on these pieces one at a time. You don't have to do everything. You can always work at your own pace. And that's why the university is nice, because you can come back to it later. You can pause the video. You know, if you go to Florida for a couple weeks, you just come back and turn the video on and keep working on it. So the feather bundle shows a bunch of different ways to use feathers, and it has one free class, and it has the hearts and feathers and this feather sampler that are included. And this has a full pattern guide that goes with it and has markings and everything else that is part of that. So that's one of the bundles that we set up, because I do love feathers. I'm very passionate about them. I think they really add a lot of elegance to a quilt, and they really speak to my design aesthetic. So you'll see I put them on a lot of different things. All right, let's see. We have one more. This is a class. We don't really have it in a bundle. The other class that we could have done like a Christmas or winter. This one, this is everything. This is your back-to-back border. So the border that we showed you earlier, I'm going to flip it because you'll be able to see it way better on the white. That's the corner of the border right there with the back-to-back. Can you see it? Pretty good. And then a little bit of free motion to fill in. This has got some stars by Donna McCauley. So let's see if we can put some contrast on here so you can see really good. So some of her stars right here, this is the curly Q designs and how you can use those curly Qs to just make this all over design. And then the other thing that's unique about this class is that the patchwork on here, the applique, is actually built with the back-to-back. So this class, it features the curly Qs, the stars, and the back-to-back. And then all of the applique work is just your decorative stitch. But this right here, this shape is the back-to-back. And so then I just cut my sash, my 2.5-inch strips, using the back-to-back as the alignment to make all of these, and then stack them and then cut the tree. So our tools are hugely versatile and valuable. It's not just that they're for ruler work. They can be used in so many different ways. Any way that you can see. I mean, I use the stars right here. I have fusible on the back. We cut them out, and then we actually quilted them with the star as well, and then used whatever other quilting to fill in. So I always want people to see that the tools have a lot of different ways to be used. It's not that, oh, this feather can only make a feather lobe. No, I can make a wreath with it. I can make a petal with it. I can do whatever I want with it. So I really want to encourage people to be super versatile and think outside the box with these tools, because they're powerful, very powerful.
Yeah. Did you say that you stitched those down with the ruler first and then cut them away?
No, I traced the ruler shape onto them. This is fused, all these pieces. This is a strip.
Okay.
And then once I cut them, the top of this is straight, and then this one just laps over the top. And then these are quilted afterwards with the back-to-back. So all these quilted lines right there, that's back-to-back.
There it is. Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. So I appliqued first, and I used the ruler to actually create the shape of the applique. Then once the tree was already positioned and ironed on, I did all the decorative stitching with this gold thread to embellish the tree. And then I quilted it afterwards with the back-to-back. So you can see that we can use the tools in a lot of different ways. We don't have just this one way to do it. It's multifaceted, using these tools to create this whole thing with the applique and everything.
I love it.
So let's see. I think here's a couple more. These are a little bit random, a little bit out of order. I believe that this one also was featured with the Crosshair Square, because the Crosshair Square is super important for this Grandiflora, because it really shows you like where to start and stop with the shapes on this. And again, this is where I used, I'll bring this one a little closer. This is where I did Template, but I used the shape of that to give me the applique element. And I think it looks like lace. I just think it looks fantastic. So this is the 6-point Crosshair Square in order to sew this one, right? So it's not the 8-point. So this one branches out a little bit more on the crosshair side by showing you what some of the shapes, the other features will have, you know, not just the 8-point, but how we can use some of those other shapes. So let's see. I don't know if you can see the quilting as well, but
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
there. So, and that's, I always encourage people to play with different threads, to be as creative as possible. This is a variegated thread. You'll see that I'm a lot of times giving guides about, how to use your needle, how to use your tip, how to check your tension, so that they can get the best results possible. It's not just that we're here to say, use our tool and buy our template, which we are, because they're awesome. But we also are interested in giving people the full range of education so they can be fully successful in all aspects of their quilting.
Yeah. No, you do an awesome job. I do love that you point that out, that there's so many different things you can do with your rulers, and you've done such a great job of sharing all of those different ways that they can really make the most of them.
So I have two more, and I'm going to just say right off the bat, these are not a class, right? One of them is a class, but it is not a class that is on our university. This is my travel class. And this is my boot camp. Usually it's 2 days. So these are things that I teach maybe like at a guild or something like that. And either I'll mark the quilt sandwich itself with all these blocks, or there is a pattern that people can do if they want to make it. So many times when we are teaching classes, people say to us, and I'm sure you've heard this, Stacey, well, how does that work on a real quilt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great. It works great. It works great on a real quilt. You want to see? So this is a real quilt with real seams, and the quilting looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It really does. So, we're not just spouting off. We're down here in the trenches. We're real quilt people, and we're showing you our real quilts.
I love it. Kate just had a quick, oh, here she's back. You were quick, Kate.
What did I do?
Oh,
What
you went away for a sec, but you came right back.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So sometimes this is called my modern sampler. It's got Modern Mania, I think is the name of it. And this is something that you'll see at some of the national shows. So if you're looking for something that's really, really a robust boot camp where you are really nitty grittying and really quilting stuff and putting templates together to make a full look, this is about, integrating them together and making them fit into block spaces. And so I designed that for those people that say, I want to learn how to really quilt it. Okay, well, here's a border. Well, here's a motif. Well, here's a corner. This is a real deal, how we really need to be able to quilt our quilts at home, piece by piece.
I love it.
I have one more, Stacey. Is that okay?
That's perfect. And then we'll share with them the bundles. We'll review the opportunity to win, and I might even have something else that I get to share of yours as well. And you did miss sharing the fun and fancy.
Oh, I did. Yeah, it's right here. I've got it right here. Or at least I have one piece of it.
Oh, good.
Oh, I found a few more. Darn it. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the fun and fancy. This is the table topper. And I think, Stacey, you guys have my bigger. No, I have one more sample that I have. The binding is being put on it. So that has like some of the blocks from actually Fun and Fancy, because Fun and Fancy has 8 blocks. That part of what we did is after COVID, so many people were saying, can't you write a book? I need a book. I need a written instruction. And the thing is, if you have 500 plus templates like Westalee does, how do you write a book that encompasses all of them? It's impossible. It's just impossible. So I picked some that I liked, and I created a book, and it has a section for each template in that set. And then this table topper is trying to use each one of those tools in at least 2 or more ways. So here you've got the 1-inch circle right here, and they've got this little yin and yang look. And then this has a little bit of a free motion with the swirl, and we show you how to do that with the actual template on. And then this has got right there, that's the Spin Effects number 8 used in one directionality. And then we use it the other way. Our Spin Effects can also be used in 2 different ways. And then we just added some echo and some free motion in there. Okay. And then this part right here, this block, this is continuous with this Circles on Quilts number 21. These were all sewn as one stitch line, these bigger ones with the embellishments. And then here's the Spinifex number 8, where you're using that little tilt to put the little extra flourish in there. And then the other one that's in that set is a very cool oval, the 1.5 by 3. And you can see here we used it for clamshells right there, little tips of the egg. And then on the other side, we used it the opposite direction where the ovals are lengthwise and overlapping. So you can see the oval is right here. And because they intersect, they make these little spaces. And I just put little pebbles in there. So this class is part of the Fun and Fancy, but the longer class that is a bit more expensive, it follows the book and it does each design in the book. So you can see me having to fudge it or align it or make it work in real time on a real quilt. And that's why I think that that class is so important, because it's not just, oh, here, make a block. It's working on a larger piece. You're having to manipulate the quilt sandwich. You're having to, you know, adjust the ruler lines so that everything lines up. And I talk about that throughout that section, so you can really see how to quilt on your actual quilt. And that class is, I think it's about 13 hours of instruction or something like that. And it goes through everything in the book, which I did write, which is called The Path to Ruler Work Quilting. So that features the Fun and Fancy set, and that is a specific collection of tools. And so people will say, well, you know, I'll buy the book. And then I say, well, do you have the tools? So, I mean, I wanted to be clear that that book is featuring specific tools, and you certainly could cross-generalize those instructions to other similar rulers. But in general, it's really showing you how to use those specific tools. So
yeah, and that is probably one of just a couple classes that we wouldn't be able to include in the giveaway today, guys. At least the one that includes the 13 hours of education, because you're getting the full book with that and, you know, everything else. So,
but I think this table topper one is not that expensive. I think
the
you could
table topper
definitely,
we could definitely include for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so also I have several classes that are under just general template quilting instruction. And this is one of them. This one is available. This is called the Spoon Block. And this features the Flower Power set that Anne collated. She put together a grouping of tools and created a whole bunch of education content for that. And so this class is sort of an addition, an augment. So if you participated in any of Anne's Flower Power classes, then here's just some additional ideas for how you could use those same shapes. And I'll turn it over so you can see the quilting pretty good on this, because it's kind of a lighter thread.
Oh, gorgeous.
And then, of course, I love that heart border. Awesome. I think it just looks so good. So this would be in the category of general template quilting. And there's several classes that I put in the bundle that are just, you know, like random, but they are all about how to hold things, how to align things. And so they're all general template quilting knowledge classes that would be available. And then my last one is my pièces de résistance, something like that. I'm not sure if I said that properly. But the reason I bring this to class a lot of times is this piece, it's my favorite. I personally feel like after I quilted it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made that.
Oh,
So
it's gorgeous.
We're going to scoot out just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of it.
You can't really see how big it is until you do that.
And it's not huge. I think it's probably about 65 by 65. It's a square. And I marked it off. And so there's square sections on each of these. And this was all template, and I was going to cut a bunch more. And my aunt was like, no, you're not. So I didn't. And what I like about it is this is double batted, and it shows an amazing amount of power and depth when you use mostly rulers. This quilt is about 90% rulers. There is a couple of like freehand feather things and stuff like that on here. this like right here, this is freehand and the curls, but most everything is ruler driven. So there's a lot of circles, a lot of back to back. This is the oval right here. And what I like about it is it shows you how powerful rulers are, that they can be super diverse. They can make amazing, rich designs. So people think like, oh, that can maybe a long armor or just, robotic quilting. No, this is hand guided with rulers for the most part. And so I like this because, when you practice a little bit more as you go down the road and you advance to that, skilled level, this is where you can go. And I know not
Yeah.
everybody is there, but I mean, we start at the beginning and then this is like down the road, letting you see where you can go in the future.
Absolutely. No, it's incredible. And one of the things that I'm sure all of us will agree to here is that you really do stunning quilting, but you really fill it in. I don't know that you've shown a single piece today that has had just a singular block design, as opposed to like what I keep seeing is a lot of connected designs that flow into each other to minimize thread breaks and to, kind of really have, I would consider this some of our denser, you're probably, and maybe this isn't the right way to say it, but you probably have a lot more quilting in all of your pieces than a lot of the other educators.
And I think I do. And I like that style. I'll own
Mm-hmm.
that for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not required. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had people come and I've quilted professionally, for quite a while. And I've had customers who come to say they don't want that. They don't want something
Yeah.
really dense. They want just something really open and things like that. And that's, I don't have the sample right here. Let's see if I can find it. So Donna McCauley, several of her things, this isn't a class. I think this is free content also. It's something I did for you guys before. Oh, I don't know if I can find it.
Oh, someone was asking if you long arm quilted that or if you did that on a domestic, that
Yeah,
project.
this one is rulers on a long arm. Yeah,
Okay.
this is a long, that is correct. Could I do it on my domestic? Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that it would be harder, it'd just be different. Right. At this point, this size, I could manage this on my long arm. This, like I said, this isn't even a twin, right? So I'll show you. I'll pull it down a little bit. The end is right there and the other end's right here. It's not giant.
Oh, sure.
Right. So I could definitely do that on my domestic. If I was going to work something that was much longer than this or wider than this, I would definitely want to put my suspension system on just to alleviate some of the weight. So like if I was working on my domestic machine, I would clip it up just to alleviate the weight so I can move more freely.
Excellent. Someone said, which of Kate's classes would be best for beginners? So that could be a great lead in to kind of review the bundles.
Sure.
And then, yeah, maybe you could help us kind of identify which of these bundles might be best for beginners.
The basic quilting tutorial bundles, which I think is the one that you have up there. Let's see.
Yes.
The one that says general quilting.
Yeah, it says Kate's Quilting Tutorial Bundle.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't read it. It's so small. The cross hatching class is limited rulers required, and it goes through aligning the template, how do you mark it, how to use the spacing gauge, if you have a crosshair square, how do you use that. That one is low buy-in in terms of tools and a lot of knowledge, really powerful knowledge. And the way that I do my classes, for people that have seen them before, I always start out with something really basic, really that applies to everybody, that is not tricky. And then little by little by little, I'll start to add a little bit harder or a little bit more alignment thing or a little bit more marking thing each time, just to advance the skill level. So that one is a really good start. If you have the Flower Power set, I think the spoon block is really great because it really shows you how to actually plan the design in a space. And
Oh, okay.
the other one that is really good is the Crossworks. You don't have to make the block, but you can just quilt it. And it's just one template. And it shows you how to do 3 or 4 different quilt patterns with just one template. And you can use any Spinifex. It doesn't have to be that one that I'm using. You can use any one that you have.
Sure.
So I think those are some good recommendations. Anything that was under
I love
general.
that one was just another singular template too, Kate.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually, so again, it kind of minimizes your need for a lot of tools, but it gives you a good impact on what you can do with what you have. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to show a couple of the other collections that we're putting together for Kate, these are bundles that'll have a kind of bundled price. We'll be highlighting these and pushing them out via, social and email here shortly, is the feather bundling. And so if you want to get good at feathers, Kate is your girl. She's got so many great feather tutorials, but this is a bundle of feather classes of 3 of them: Feather Fantasy, Hearts and Feathers with Westerly Design Paisley templates. So that would be another awesome bundle. And yeah, I thought that was a really, really cool how much you really dove into feathers, because I think that you're probably one of our top feather educators.
I do love them.
How do you like that that official ranking there, Kate?
I'll take it. Here, I'm trying to get back on camera, but I'm having a little struggle with my camera here.
Okay. And then this is the crosshair based bundle. So that was where she's showing off how you can really take advantage of crosshair squares to create designs, is kind of what you explained earlier, Kate. But you have, it looks like, 4 separate classes that are really dive deep into using crosshair squares for design. So, and then we do have a bundle that we didn't really highlight today, which is your patchwork classes. And Kate's done a really great job of creating education with patchwork. So you did an amazing Blissful Spirits, which is the double wedding ring project that using the double wedding ring tools by Westerly Design, correct?
Sorry, Stacy, you cut out just for a second. I couldn't hear you.
The Blissful Spirits, this class right here, that was created using the double wedding ring? Yes. I can answer that for myself. Yes. And then she had her Fun and Fancy patchwork series using the Westerly Design tools as well to create her Fun and Fancy quilt. And that is also another class that's on the university. So that's more of a on the patchwork side of her classes. So again, these are our bundles coming soon to you. But now is the time for everyone to say which of these classes do you want to win? We've got the Daisy Lively that's going to be in that. We've got the Creative Crosshatching. We have the Fun and Sassy Table Topper. We have, looks like there's a couple free ones that you don't even have to win, guys. You can just get on over to Kate's classes and download those free designs right now if you haven't already. We have our Feather Fantasy Sampler class. We didn't really even talk about the Winter Wonderland today, but the Winter Wonderland is another gorgeous project that Kate did that's definitely highlighting the snowflake designs. Is that right, Kate?
Yeah, and also I think the 2 Grandiflora blocks, I think those would fit within your parameters. There's 2 separate classes for that, and those are available as well.
The Crossworks class is in there. We have the Concentric Tangent by Kate. So if you want to get kind of, I see that concentric tangent, and I see a very modern quilting there.
Absolutely, that is the plan.
Yeah. So if you want to get kind of some modern quilting going with your circles, and that's a great class. Design your own Christmas tree. Oh, that could be great for the holidays. Every time I see this project, I'm like, oh, I want to make that. We didn't really highlight this today, but this is you using the Sew Steady suspension system to quilt your Blissful Spirits quilt. And so this is kind of another example of learning some quilting designs that you can use on patchwork. So this could be a great one if you've got a double wedding ring quilt and you're looking for ideas on how to quilt it. This is another great one to consider. Hearts and feathers, the Grand Flora. So that's using that grand leaf templates. We've got Grand Flora blocks 2 and 3 there, and then Grand Flora block 1 as another class option. And then we've got your Flower Power template set. That's the spoon block by Kate. And I really do love how much you incorporate patchwork into all of your quilting, because I definitely think it helps people appreciate that they can use Westerly designs to finish their quilts tops at home. So that's amazing. So those are the classes that we highlighted today, guys. And so I'm going to go ahead and start picking a winner for those classes here in a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to share one other thing with you. We love what Kate does so much that we took one of her amazing designs and we turned it into a panel. So talk about the opportunity to really learn how to use corner motifs and borders and block designs to finish your quilt tops at home. This is actually designed to work with both of our sampler set and our feather templates. And we have classes coming to you soon at locations all over that are going to dive into using these panels and incorporating either embroidery or rulers or a combination thereof to show you how easy it is to finish your quilt tops with the Westerly Design and Sew Steady tools, whether you're an embroiderer or a ruler quilter. So we're really excited about sharing that with you, and again, inspired by all of Kate's amazingness there. So Kate, thank you for just being an amazing quilter and one of our accredited teachers here at Westerly. I know you spent a lot of time with Leonie and any of the opportunities that you had when she would come to the States and do education and everything else. So Kate was awarded with a golden foot at some point along the way. Yes, I don't know if you still have it.
I still have it. Are you kidding? Okay. Yes, I know exactly where it is. I've kept it.
So you should know that all of our accredited teachers that have achieved the accredited level status have a golden foot. So Kate has hers, and that was awarded by Leonie West herself. And we did some different educator retreats and whatnot to be able to do that. So, all right, so let's pick a winner. So I'm going to go ahead and do my fancy winning little thing here for picking a winner for our live today. We're going to be picking a winner. And just remember that what you said you want to win, we're going to hold you to that. No, you can change your mind. If you're the winner today, you can change your mind. We'll let you change your mind.
So Steady's all about choice.
Yeah. We do like to give everyone choices. Sometimes it's too much, though. So we're going to try to start limiting our choices in the new year. I keep saying that. I try to simplify what we do, and for some reason, it never feels more simple. All right. So here we go. We got 34 entries to win one of Kate's amazing classes. You get to decide which class that is for you. And the winner is, let's see here, Peggy Graycon, you are the lucky winner of one of Kate's amazing classes. So go ahead and email us which class is that you want to win of Kate's today, and we will go ahead and get you set up with that class on our Sew Steady University to take advantage of it. So Kate, thank you so much for joining us for our educator series. We love being able to share everything that all of our educators have created, and I know you're very busy. So
well, thank you so much for having me, and I just appreciate all of our all of our customers and our clients and our students. Thank you guys for letting me be part of your journey. And I always appreciate that. And I feel like you're part of my journey too. So it's a good relationship. Thank you guys. Thank you, Stacy.
Well, I can say they love you. So check Kate out. She's actually also going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, not this weekend, but next weekend at the Greater Wisconsin Show. She'll be with Linda Z's there. Then she's going to be at OSQE's teaching in 2 different locations, Nashville and Cincinnati. So check those out. But overall, we're just super, super excited to be able to continue to work with you, Kate, and have you share your love of all of these tools with everyone. So
thank you guys.
Have a wonderful day, and congratulations, Peggy, for being the lucky winner. Don't forget to email us.
Happy quilting.
Happy quilting.
Go
Thanks.
quilt some more.